screaming or going like that or anything. So you behaved. It's good.
I did once.
How do you want the shot?
Hmm?
How do you want the
Yeah, I got all twos over here. Push in close up.
Yeah.
The skill saw got me.
Yeah. Which one?
The skill saw.
Oh wow, I did too.
That
I
one
went
got
like
me.
that.
I did.
Yeah. That was pretty good. All right. You know, you must have started your career at age 4 because you've been doing this for like over 20. I went back and realized Lindsay's been on television for quite a while, you know, or in movies too.
It's been over 20 years.
Has it been pretty easy for you to stay, you know, keep going for that long? I mean, you know, a lot of people, they're not allowed for some reason to keep going. You have to keep pushing, or does it all kind of just fall in place now?
I've been blessed. Yes, people have continued to follow me, and the business has continued to recognize that. So I thank them.
Mm-hmm. Well, in this particular film, you play a lady DA. She's classy, she's sexy, she's kind of pushy. Is that pretty close to a good description?
Yeah.
What was their relationship with, say, Denzel's character?
Well, Denzel was her golden boy, and she spotted someone that she thought would be good for her team and nurtured him along, and he was just wonderful material. She didn't make him what he was, but she spotted good material and allowed him to become the best he could, and which was quite wonderful until all of this starts, of course, and then he becomes very human and very fragile, and then finds his own strength. And in the character evolution for her within the course of these events is that she comes to that painful point where her golden boy has to be, she has to let him go. Because she lives and breathes this job, and her loyalties are to the department and to her career, you know, which is the department at this point. And right now, he is not reflecting too well on the department. So whether he's innocent or not, she has to make this decision to let him go. First of all, he's mentally rather fragile by the time she lets him go, and is not capable of helping. She could, however, you know, just let him ride for a while, which the intention is. Now, I don't know exactly how it comes off in the film, what people feel, whether or not they think she buys all the negative publicity, which in fact that was not my intent, for it to feel that way. She just has to be tough and do what's going to be right for the job. So the fact that it was looking that way, she had to disassociate him from the organization for a while.
Now, you do get an impression she's a climber, no question about that.
Right.
And she'll do whatever it takes.
Right.
As an actress, do you ever find yourself being too consumed with all this stuff? You know, I mean, I can see how people, you know, that are DAs that really had to climb real hard to get to that position. That's almost like being in a hit film, being a DA in a big city. It wasn't easy getting there, and it is all possessing. Do you ever find that to be true? Maybe earlier in your career, maybe not so much now, or?
Well, I don't know. I've worked pretty hard to keep a balance, an emotional balance, for whatever reasons I was going in. Well, actually, I know why. When I studied acting when I was 14, and the man I studied with, I had opportunities at that age to go into acting. And he sat me down and really had a long talk with me about the pitfalls of the business emotionally, what you were just describing being a part of it, that can consume you. And that at my age, and as emotionally fragile as I was at that age, that he really didn't advise that. He said, when you kind of have your feet on the ground as an individual, that's when you should go into it, because it's going to try real hard to knock you off. So I was warned early on about that, and I was very cognizant of it when I came into the business. And I watched, and you know, it's certainly a balancing act. It's just even losing your anonymity is a very unstabling thing, and you have to learn to live with that. As strange as it may sound, it's like losing a limb in a way. You just will never get it back. And people don't have any idea what that's like, for people to look at you all the time, watch every move you make. You can, you know, wherever you go out. It was very hard at first.
There's the Bionic Woman, which
where, you know,
yeah.
oh me,
Yeah.
you know, especially if you're shy by nature, which I really kind of am, contrary to what most people think. So it's, you know, it's a whole
But about actresses and actresses, and I think people, that's why there are so many magazines about them and why we sit here and do interviews, is people are fascinated in what makes you tick. But I found that the more successful the actor, actress, the more interesting they are as people. The more unsuccessful, it seems like that's all they know is acting, that's all they can talk about, and that's probably why they're not very successful, because they're not real people.
Yeah, well, the real people, I just think a lot of people are in the business to have people look at them as opposed to in the business to communicate or to I don't know. That's a very interesting subject, and it's also very complicated,
Yeah, it is.
far more than I think we
Yeah.
probably want to go into.
Yeah, but it's all the psychology of that is very.
It is.
You're almost, I guess you were certainly one of the 2 or 3 queens of the TV movie. I mean, there aren't too many Monday nights in the fall and winter that Lindsay doesn't pop up doing something. I guess it just worked out that way, hadn't it?
Yeah. Well, certainly I was blessed with the business saying, "We love you over here," and because I tend to gravitate to films, scripts, projects that have something more to say than just entertainment. Television has been the medium that has been willing to do those kinds of films up until very recently. So it was very easy for me to stay there. I was successful there for one, but two, I could do the kinds of movies that I wanted to do. Very recently, just this year, as a matter of fact, some wonderful, strange thing has happened within the feature business, and it's like all of a sudden gotten a conscience, and they're all of a sudden doing movies about something, and I've just found that so exciting, and it's kind of making me want to maybe shift my focus a little bit more over to that not only, I mean, it's always fun to do a feature because there's more money, there's more time, there's more resources of all kinds. So just creatively, as an actor, it's a lot more gratifying. But as a person with the kind of work I'd like to do, there hasn't been much place for that in the feature business. You couldn't sell a movie with yourself in it hardly without taking off your clothes if you were a woman and without cutting somebody's head off if you were a man. And you know, it seems to be changing all of a sudden. There's wonderful films coming out, City Slickers, and which was a wonderful, wholesome film, and people liked it. You don't have to do all that stuff for people to enjoy your film. You just have to be creative. And
it does seem to be hard for a woman to keep her clothes on in a film that has, you know, it just seems like that always has to work into that. And on TV, you can keep your clothes on, you can almost think. And you can be an actress without having to get into that, right?
That's right.
It's amazing. Is the best and the worst thing that can happen to you is to have a hit series? Not just you, but people in general.
I don't even think it would be the best right now because I can't separate my career from my life. Therefore, for my life right now, that would be very difficult. I have small children, and it gives me much more of a life if I can go in, do a job, and get out and have more control over where I spend my time and how much time you can't with a series, with a hit series. That's it. I mean, you're married to it, and if you have time for your family, fine. You know.
Well,